So we are back on schedule 1, and in this video we're going to be going through a fully automated bungalow setup. And a massive shout out to Crimson Builds. I'm going to leave his video in the description because this setup has come from him. I had this set up for OG Kush and the meth, and then I realized that I've got a lot of money. I've not used the console commands for money or anything like that. I have way more than enough to go and get the barn, so we're just going to be doing weed or OG Kush from this bungalow setup. And first and foremost, you're gonna need around 20 grand or so. You're also gonna need 5 workers. So if we go into the next room, I've got 6 beds laid out. That's 1 for me to sleep when it's nighttime, and then 5 for the workers. And let's actually make it daytime quickly. So if we head outside now to my van, this is what you're gonna need. You are going to need 15 large storage racks. You're gonna need 4 of the Mark II mixing stations, a trash can, 8 full spectrum grow lights, where you can get the LED ones, and then suspension racks. You're going to need 8 moisture preserving pots, and a packaging station Mark II. So what we're going to do to start off with is grab all of the pots. We're going to grab all of the suspension racks, the trash can, and we are going to also grab the lights. Then if we head back inside, what we're going to do is this is going to be the main area where the OG Kush is grown, and this is where the botanist is going to deal with all of that. So what we're going to do is we are going to have 2 pots in the corners next to each other like this, and then we're going to get 2 in the middle. Then we're going to place our trash can, and then we're going to have another 2 pots. So if we keep the door closed because it gets very, very tight in here, then what we're going to do is put the suspension racks over the top of them. Then what we're going to do is get the lights installed. So if we come here and we do this, these lights just give you extra growth. So you can do the LED ones. They're 15% growth speed. These are 30%. So our stuff's just going to grow a lot faster. And now to finish this room off, what we need to do is if we go back to the van, we are going to grab all of our mixing stations, and we are going to take 4 of the large shelves. So if we come back in and we put the shelves, you want to put this first one right up against the suspension rack. Then you'll have enough room in the corner. And then the same on the other side. And then the mixing stations are just going to go in front of the shelves, because that way the workers can still reach behind them. So if I just show you, you can still access storage and everything. So that is all fine. So that's how this room's going to look. Then next up is preparing this room just outside the planting room. And what we're going to do is grab the rest of our shelves. I've already got some set up here. Like the 15th shelf is for just having 1 here. But obviously I've got 4, so I've had more than 15. So if we head outside, we go to the van. We're going to grab a bunch of the large storage racks. We're going to get our packaging station. And then what we're going to do in here is we're going to have 1 shelving unit there. We're going to put 6 over here, all the way up to there. And then we're going to have 1 on this wall here. Then we're going to grab 2 and put them there. And then finally, we are going to have our packaging station. And that is how this room should look. So now at this stage, what you need to do is start filling up your shelves. What I have done is over here we have the first storage. This is going to house your soil and your seeds. I'm using OG Kush. You can use whatever you want to. And then these 4 shelves are going to be for spare product. These 2 at the back are for the harvested stuff. These 2 over here are for things that are packaged. This is for the jars and the baggies, whatever you want to put in there for the harvested material that's going to be packaged up. And then behind the mixing stations, we have all 4 of the ingredients we're going to mix with our OG Kush to get a good strain. So now to start assigning your workers, you're going to need a cleaner, then a botanist, a chemist, and 2 handlers. So if we go over to the cleaner to start with, and we manage the cleaner, we assign them a bed. If we just give them the one at the back over here, then assigned trash cans, we are going to come to our one and only trash can and select it. And then that way we have the cleaner that is working on all of these pots, like basically this whole room. So any mess is going to be cleaned up, meaning we don't have to do it. Then moving on to the botanist, if we get out our management clipboard again, we go to manage, we're going to assign a bed, so we'll just do this one here. Then supplies, we are going to choose this rack here with our soil and our seeds on. Then for the pots and the drying racks, what we're going to do is come in here, and if you shift click, it doesn't do one at a time. So that was just to show you like doing one at a time. So if we shift and click on all of these, just make sure you don't shift click on the final one, because otherwise you're going to have to like basically click off it and click it again. But you'll see we've got moisture preserving pots, all 8 of them there, large storage rack. And then what we need to do again is we need to grab all of these pots, remembering not to shift click on the last one, because then what we're going to do is, well, you can actually shift click the last one for this bit. You're going to manage the pots, the seed, I'm going to select OG Kush, and the destination, we're going to drag all of them to this very first mixing station. So with the chemist, this one's not too difficult to set up. If we go to the management clipboard, we assign them a bed. So I'm going to do this one here. Then the 4 stations are just going to be your mixing stations. So if we come in, we close the door, we're going to go 1, and then you can shift click again. And then not doing it on the final one, that's all 4 of the mixing stations set up. And that is the chemist done. So now on to handler number 1. So with handler number 1, if we go and assign him a bed, so he's going to have this one here, then you're not going to do anything with the stations. What you're going to do is add 5 roots, which is the most they can have, and we're just going to select the roots to be the shelving, and that is going from the large storage rack to the mixing station in front of it. And we're going to do that with all 4, so if I clear that quickly, because I accidentally clicked on the mixing station. So large storage rack, every single time if it lets me click on it. There we go. And we go to the mixing station in front of it. And then the same with the bananas. And we go there. Then the final one, we're going to go from the jars over to the packaging station. And that is that handler set up. But now what we need to do as well is we need to manage the mixing stations and set their destination to go round in kind of like a circle all the way around the room. And when we have got to the end, if we grab this one, we're going to send it to the packaging station as well. So now our handler is going to do like the mixing stuff, like put the ingredients in. That's all going to get mixed up. And the mixing station is going to, like you see the arrows go there, then they come across the room, go through there, and then through the wall to the packaging station. So we've got our product and our baggies and stuff going to the packaging station. Then with the second and final handler, what we're going to do is we are going to, again, assign a bed. So if we do this one here, we're going to assign a station this time, which is going to be the packaging station. And then again, we need 5 roots. We are going to go from energy drinks here. Like you can choose which ingredients you want to mix. But we're going to go energy drinks, and then in here, we're going to go energy drinks there. Then we are going to grab the second one, which is donuts. And we're going to go to donuts. Then we're going to do the same for the other side of the room. And then after you've done that, what we're going to do is with the final one, we're going to go from this shelf here to this one here. So that what happens is, once the front shelf is full up with product, they then move it to the back. So now what's going to happen is the botanist comes in, like the cleaner's working in the room the whole time. The botanist comes in, uses the soil and the seeds, plants everything in here, and then puts all the stuff in this mixing station. The mixing station goes through all of this stuff. Like all of this gets mixed up by the chemist. Then it gets moved over to the assembly station, or the packaging station, sorry. And that goes in with a baggie or a jar. The product gets packaged, puts into this storage. When this one starts filling up, it gets moved to the back one. And then these 2 over here are going to be spares for when you are like basically overstocked. So what we're going to do now is put their cash on their beds. and we are going to get them working. So if I fill up their briefcases quickly. So if we go in the room, we're going to see that our botanist is going to start planting. The cleaner's doing his thing. So once the harvesting's done, and my cleaner actually tidies up, it's very messy in here, then that stuff's going to go into the mixing station. Then we should see the chemist start to walk in. And the chemist is going to mix all of that stuff up. So we've got the strain going into the final mixing station. And the handlers are coming in and they are restocking the stuff for the mixing stations. They're doing it nicely. So you'll see when the chemist finally gets that mix on, you'll see a handler come in and put some bananas on there. Oh, they're doing it. Oh, no, they were doing it through the wall. There you go. You'll see that it's been restocked. Then the other one comes in, grabs bananas off this shelf, and then goes and fills that shelf up. So you only ever need to manually fill up these 4. And I think this works out to you only have to do anything with it once every 2 in-game days. So I mean, like with the restocking of product, because there are no restockers or anything like that. But you'll see the chemist is coming in, and what they're going to do now is take that stuff and it's going to be put on there. And then once the other worker comes in, the handler is going to start doing the packaging. And don't do what I did. I completely forgot to assign the packaging station. So the last step would be to manage the packaging station, and you want to just select the storage behind it. And then that way, because of the way you got the handler set up, the handler moves the stuff into there. And you'll see we've got 2 jars of sweet cookies. So it does get a little bit crowded in that room. It can be quite hard to navigate around the employees because they've got collision activated. But providing none of them bug out, this is, I'm going to say, the absolute best automated setup for the bungalow. All you have to do is restock your supplies. So you need to get extra jars and baggies. You need to get extra soil and seeds. You need to get extra ingredients for the mixing. And then you also need to deal with those shelves as well. Any spare product you can put on these shelves, providing the cleaner doesn't shove me through the wall. And then as long as you've set it all up correctly with the pathing and the stations and everything that you're assigning to your employees, that is all you need to do. So that is the absolute best, or I'm going to say it's the absolute best, automated bungalow setup in Schedule 1. And again, massive shout out to Crimson Builds, because without their video, there's no way I would automate the process like this. Some of the workers before were doing my head in. And what we're going to do is leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about this setup in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helped you out.